Now let's take a look at the second argument that we said was a good had good logic, was a good inference. All communists admire Karl Marx. Ronald Reagan did not admire Karl Marx. Therefore, Ronald Reagan was not a communist. To reconstruct the argument, the conclusion: Ronald Reagan was not a communist. One of the premises: Ronald Reagan did not admire Marx. All communists admire Marx. The first premise: well, we know at least the conclusion certainly follows from the premises. And if we're taking a look, we can figure out the pattern or the form of the argument. It starts the same way the last one: all communists, all A's, admire Marx. Are B people who admire Marx. Now the next one's about an individual. Ronald Reagan is X. Ronald Reagan is not an admirer of Karl Marx. Therefore, Ronald Reagan is not an A. So the first premise says all A's are B's, A's being communists, B's being people who admired Marx, Karl Marx. We know that Ronald Reagan was not a B, did not admire Karl Marx, so he's outside of the box, so it couldn't possibly be the case that he was an A, so X, Ronald Reagan, is not an A. Again, we have a valid pattern of inference. This one sometimes in some logic books they call the first kind of inference a direct inference, and this one is an indirect inference because it's going through the not. And the first one is direct, it's going from left to right. If you think about it, all A's on the left are B's. Something is an A, therefore something is a B. And now we're going kind of in the indirect, the negative way, not negative and bad, but just kind of the not way. So we have an indirect inference here, an indirect pattern of inference. And we see, again, this is another good pattern of inference in predicate logic. And we're going to see many arguments use this pattern of argument or have this pattern of argument.